Okay, welcome back. It's 8/23 of 2015. We're going to take a look at Gabriel's essay on the religion theory of Brentano in the Cambridge Companion. Very brief essay, but basically it takes a look at the divine intellect as the direct necessary intellect, and the incarnate intellect, and the intellect of teleosis. We'll take a look at those three moments. If we look at the creative intellect as the direct necessity of existence, we learn that natural theology is the pinnacle of philosophy for Brentano, and everything that exists is necessary in reality. Everything that exists is necessary. And this is evident to us through its acquisition through inner perception. And everything is indirectly necessary, meaning that its existence is dependent upon the subject of the divine intellect. It is subject dependent. Now, every presentation is enclosed within a temporal mode, and there are 9 attributes of this divine intellect as subject, which is the necessity of all existence. And the 9 attributes are that it is transcendent, it is the creative principal force of all reality, it is not immutable, it is not changeless, and the divine intellect does exist in time, and the divine intellect possesses a knowledge that does change over time. But the divine intellect does determine how space is filled from a standpoint of teleosis, and it is universal mind. The divine intellect always self-consciously encloses and contemplates all of creation. All of creation is gathered up in the universal, all-encompassing enclosure of the divine intellect self-consciousness. And it is this divine intellect of self-consciousness that gathers up all knowing of all creation within itself. And this divine intellect does constitute the order of the universe. It does constitute a divine teleosis, a divine teleology. Now, this creative intellect goes out of itself as incarnate intellect, and then will be regathered in self-consciousness. As incarnate intellect, the divine creative intellect is the dynamic change of knowledge. And we take up the axiom of causal law. No real thing comes into existence without a cause. And this all-encompassing self-conscious knowing of the divine universal intellect undergoes a steady, infinitesimal change through the continual evolving teleosis that is incarnate within all reality. There are 4 aspects of this incarnate dynamic intelligence. It is substance or universality without any accidents, and it is self-conscious thinking that gathers up within itself all of reality within that self-consciousness, and thinking constitutes its being. It is impassible and cannot be deterred or suffer from external influence. It is infinite, infinitely perfect, exemplifying a knowing that is complete and flawless. And it is a teleosis, and that answers the theodicy question, because only an evil, when isolated, creates the theodicy question. It's only when things are taken out of the context of teleosis that theodicy question arises, because as a whole, everything has its proper teleological place, and the evil in the world will eventually be outweighed by the teleosis of the good in the world. So the teleosis of the good in the world will eventually have its way and reach fulfillment. If we look at the teleological intellect as the teleosis of the prime mover, the universe has a prime mover as its creative cause, And the theory of punctuated equilibrium is taken up. The divine intelligence ensures that a significant number of organic mutations, both physical and psychognostic, are favorable and are maintained to persist. So it's the maintenance of the teleosis. It is maintained by the divine intellect, and the favorable will outweigh the negative in the long run as the teleosis is fulfilled. So there is a vertical punctuation or a theory of punctuated equilibrium that sustains this teleosis. So we get a pretty good overview here. There's not a lot of particular data in this essay, but we just get a basic overview of how Brentano does view the concept of the divine intellect within his overall psychognostic view, which takes its central point of reference as Aristotle's Da Kunta threshold. Well, it's at that Da Kunta threshold that we are going to discern and slowly acquire the universality, because we do posit that third-party workspace of universality where we will gather up, through dialogue with others, the deeper significance of our generalizations and also the overarching sign genus that encloses all signs, and that overall sign genus is going to be that which corresponds to the divine intellect, which is pure and perfect, flawless substance. And that's the universality that we seek, because that universality is going to enclose our sign model. It's going to be the critique that critiques the ordering of our signs and their interrelatedness, and it will also critique the way that we posit that interrelated sign model into actuality through praxis. All of this weighs heavily on that critique of universality, and we discovered in the previous lesson on value theory that universality is discovered in unison with our own discovery of motivational body state. So we go through all the aspects of nous poietikos, of mind making, and passive, active, and poietikos mind. And once we reach that made mind, or psychognostic mind, and develop a motivational body state, then we begin to start acquiring the different aspects and attributes of a universality that will inform that motivational body state. And we accrue that dialectically and through dialogical engagement at the Da Kunta threshold of Aristotle's Da Kunta threshold. And all of that universality speaks directly to the creative intellect, and the creative intellect is the pure substance, which is a direct necessity of reality that does provide that transcendence in objectivity, and that transcendence that qualifies all of our accidents of sign creation at the Da Kunta threshold. So we get a great picture of an overview of how the doctrine of the creative intellect fits in with Brentano's overall position on psychognostic work at the Da Kunta threshold of dialogue. And so that'll wrap us up on this essay, which puts us up through 255.